All right. Hey there, it's Pops. Let's wrap up Disney What If. I have not done a video in a while. I did the first three episodes. Let me wrap up this season. Episodes 4, 5, and 6. Episode 4 is the Dark Doctor Strange episode. Episode 5 is Marvel Zombies. Then the bizarre episode 6, If Killmonger Saved Tony Stark. So if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I have not been a big fan of the What If series. I think they have been very, very lazy, and this has been a lot more about the gender and race swapping in the first couple episodes and creating really bizarre, contradictory themes to the rest of the MCU. That doesn't really stop with the last three episodes, but I will say episode 4, the Doctor Strange episode, is probably the best of the series. And in that episode, in the sequence where he is going to speak, he's driving his little sports car. He actually is not alone. So when he crashes, it is her death that triggers him going down and seeking out mystic arts and that kind of thing, and it sparks his decision to become Doctor Strange. Yet it haunts him. And the premise of the video is it haunts him so much that he can't let it go. He starts drifting into dark arts. He starts seeking out a way to use his time stone to go back in time and learn about different spells and magic that can help him bring someone back from the dead and cheat it. He tries all sorts of different ways, so he becomes the passenger, so thinking he would die. There's one where he doesn't go at all. He stands her up, but of course she's killed either way. And it becomes this pivot point that's crucial, which is very contradictory to some of the events of Loki and what we know about time travel. But at the end of the day, it's a dark episode that basically his decisions bring about the end of the universe. If she does not die, he does try to keep her alive at the end. And he basically just becomes a monster. That basically is the end of that timeline, that universe as we know it. The next episode is episode 5, which is the Marvel Zombies episode. And my first thought was Reed Richards gets another pass for being the cause of some sort of Marvel crossover apocalyptic type things. That's more key to his doing in the comic book. But here we see Hank Pym obsessed about bringing back his believed to be deceased Janet. And there's an infection that's brought into the universe. The Avengers try to show up and save the day, and they get infected. And that basically, what's weird here is Hulk is thrown from the events of Ragnarok to Earth at Infinity War, yet Thor, how was Thor there in space with Hulk, but also infected? Anyway, don't think too much with the Disney Plus shows, folks, it'll make your head hurt. Anyway, the few heroes that survive, including Spider-Man, it becomes this absurd journey to travel to a place where they think they can find a cure, and you end up with a hodgepodge of characters. Winter Soldier is okay at times. Like, that was fine. Spider-Man's even less Spider-Man and more Spider-Boy. You get some, I mean, Ant-Man's head ends up in a jar, and the Vision is the key to having a solution and a cure for the zombies, but he's basically been using his powers as a way to lure meat, creatures to this perimeter of this facility where he has Scarlet Witch contained so she can feed and survive because he loves her so much. But when we talk to the heroes, they can just discuss the horrible morality of his decision, and on a dime, he changes his mind and agrees to help them, and he'll help them through the situation. But then at the end, it cuts, and we see Thanos, a zombie Thanos, with the glove. And I don't understand, because the stone, the Mind Stone, was with Vision, but Thanos is ready to snap. So again, don't think too much. Juvenile, what is supposed to be a very scary storyline, and again, I know it's on Disney Plus, so we probably don't want to go hardcore, but it really loses a lot because it is never scary, and it just becomes really bad, campy, sort of like 80s, 90s horror movie ripoff, kind of how I felt, to be honest. Episode 6 seemed appropriate. It seemed appropriately bad for the Disney Plus show to end on, right? So it's Killmonger, for some reason, is there in the events of Iron Man when Tony Stark is attacked, and he saves him from the attack from the 10 rings and saves him, so he never gets the shrapnel in his heart, so therefore he never pursues becoming Iron Man, and instead Killmonger is this soldier that saved him, and he's brought back, and he's this alcoholic buffoon. And then out of the blue, Killmonger talks about some thesis that he did about having this AI armor. And we're like, wow, isn't that great? Suddenly Killmonger is on the intellect capabilities of like the Banner and Starks of the universe. So isn't that nice? So they do that. They create their little armies, but of course it's all a scam because Killmonger is a villain. And I was shocked to see that they actually kept him as a villain as he murders people. He murders T'Challa. He murders Tony Stark, and he spins everything around, of course, as though he's a hero and he's going to lead the charge. The government backs him to take these drones and lead them into Wakanda. Of course, he is a Wakandan, has the purple. He delivers Claw, which is the Andy Serkis character in Black Panther, to get in, which he does in the cartoon. And we see the war break out between the drones and Wakanda, which of course is all a sham because he's just trying to get to power, which is how it ends because he becomes Black Panther. And there's like a quick afterlife shot, and then the episode just ends. And we have a shot of Shuri and Pepper Potts who know he's bad, but then we cut away before anything happens, and that's how the episode ends. So there's your what if, my wrap up of 6 episodes that are mostly a waste of time and don't expand their universe and is one great big missed opportunity where we have pieces of good ideas that are always sidetracked with social justice themes. So we had, Peggy Carter, her head is on Cap's body, and she is a way better Cap than he could ever want to be. Then you had for some reason, T'Challa is abducted instead of Peter Quill and doesn't mind leaving his family behind so he can be with the Ravagers. But because he's such a great human being, he's basically Black Space Jesus. There's great peace among the universe. He talked Thanos out of his grand scheme, meets the Collector, etc. And Peter Quill basically is a Dairy Queen janitor. That was episode 2. And it doesn't matter because Ego walks in and they're going to destroy the universe now because the Guardians of the Galaxy don't exist in that universe. Let's see, what episode did I miss? Episode 3 was that was actually a pretty good one. That was probably my favorite. I go back and forth on the Dark Strange episode 4 and the spoiler alert, Hank Pym is killing the Marvel Universe, killing the Avengers one by one. So those 2 are probably my favorites. I would say the Dark Strange is number 1. There's a pretty big gap to 2. Episode 3 is the 2 that are good. Marvel Zombies is probably a very, very, very distant 3rd favorite. In all of its silliness and campiness, at least the story is linear. Like we can follow, there's a story. Forget about some of the silliness and, I don't know. There are so many things, so-and-so has to enlarge to say, I don't know, girl power and boy stink, and Spider-Man has to have the Doctor Strange cloak on because we can sell an action figure that way. It's all such contrived crap that it's hard to put my head around. I don't know. The other 3 episodes are terrible. The Killmonger saves Tony Stark. The Peggy Carter is Cap, and the Space Jesus T'Challa is Star-Lord. All 3 of them are such garbage. I guess if I had to pick episode 6, the Killmonger one is probably the least off-putting. It should just be, what if Killmonger become Black Panther and we just cut to the scene in Black Panther when he kills T'Challa, and then we could have actually had a story about what he would do or not do with the power. That would have made at least a little bit more sense than what we got. And then I have to be honest, as crazy as it sounds, Peggy Cap is less absurd than Space Jesus because of what they do to Thanos. I can't get it. I can't do it. Drax is a bartender. Nebula's basically a Star Trek character. Twist, turns, Peter Quill. I can't do it. It was so bad. They're so bad. I don't know. The writers are terrible. The animation is not very good. There's a few. I don't know. The Dark Strange one's actually okay. At least it fits the motif better than some of the others. What a disaster. Disney Plus has turned into an absolute disaster for Marvel. I wish I could say I was surprised or that you couldn't see it coming, but with the way WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, and then, of course, Loki showed things, it shouldn't surprise. And it makes us all just not want. I will do it. I'm here for you guys. I'm here to do it and get through Hawkeye. But Lord help me. It's going to be terrible. It's going to be. Here's Kate Bishop. She's so much better than he is, and she'll be the new Hawkeye. And that's what's going to happen. Spoiler alerts all around for everyone. So there's my take on What If. You may love this show. I hope you do. I hope you love it so much more than me. And I wish I loved it more. I wish there were really What If comics that were getting adapted, because I can name some that I loved, particularly a way to introduce the Fantastic Four. Wouldn't it have been cool to introduce the Fantastic Four? But, oh, they're all white. And they like each other. So you probably aren't going to have that happen. There's no way the Fantastic Four is coming to the MCU and will be aligned with what the comic books are. But what if Spider-Man joined the Fantastic Four is the first what if, and it should have been done, and it would have been at least talked about, and it would have been great. So my thoughts, love to hear yours. Hit me up in those comment sections.